Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Kelvin here. I'm sure many of you have heard of something called 1M65. But if you haven't, now you have heard about it. Basically, 1M65 is just short for 几包版 or $1 million by 65 years old. It's a super easy but godlike idea by Mr. Loo, who says that at age 30, if you and your partner can top up 130k in your CPF SA and MA, you guys will be millionaires by 65 years old. And just in case you are wondering, yes, the math is correct. I've checked it out. But then you press X to doubt and be like, top up more money into CPF? Sure not. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. In this video, I want to share what I think about 1M65, what are its pros and cons, and more importantly, should you do it? But before I start, I would greatly appreciate it if you can help to tap the like button. In return, I will show you a cute baby turtle. Alright, let's start right now. So, we all know that 1M65 works is because of magic of compounding. All you need is just 130k around 30 years old, then 35 years later, when you become ORPET or ORMA, with the CPF SA and CPF MA's 4% interest, you will end up with around 500k. And if your partner does the same too, you guys will end up with a godlike $1 million. So that's how 1M65 works. And yes, you also need to have a partner to make it work. Otherwise, you'll need to double the amount instead. So if you're single, better start finding a partner soon. All jokes aside, maybe you are thinking, wow, 130k like a lot money leh. Can or not? Oh. Like when someone asked about 1M65 on Hardware Zone, one of the reply was,
"The 1M65 guy is rich law, now accompanying his wife in Italy to buy handbags."
Yes, it's true that Mr. Loo is rich. He once worked as a CEO for Singtel Digital Media. And yes, he's overseas traveling now. But that's not the point. The point is, you don't have to be a Singtel CEO to get 130k in your CPF. Let me show you. I will just use the calculation from Sidley because I'm too lazy to calculate. So right now, the median income for Singaporeans is at $4,563. Every month, you receive this amount of money in your CPF. Assuming your boss never give you any pay raise and never give you any bonus, which is sad, and assuming you start work at 23 years old, after 7 years, you will end up with a total of 160k in your CPF, all without doing anything extra. No top up, no pay raise, nothing. So it's totally possible to reach 130k by 30 years old. But with that being said, here's a very big fine print. This is assuming that you are not wiping out your entire CPF OA to buy a house. If you use it, then you will need to top up your CPF to make it go back up to 130k. Okay, now you know how 1M65 works. Let me share the pros and cons of this strategy. Starting with the pros first. First, safety net. The biggest benefit of 1M65 is that now you have a safety net. This is because no matter what happens to your investments, you know that your CPF money will be there waiting for you, gathering dust and interest till you reach old age. Like maybe you YOLO your money into Dogecoin thinking that Elon Musk will pump it up. But as it turns out, the guy found out and be like, he bought, dump it, and you lose all your money. At the very least, you know that you'll still be alright because you have CPF. Mr. Loo calls this the Kueh Lapis strategy, where you have a few layers. CPF forms the bottom layer, the foundation. Then with that safety net, maybe you can invest in riskier stuff like stocks, cryptos, or maybe Irene NFTs. For example, even Mr. Loo also went 8 mode and invest in algorithmic trading. He can do that because he knows that CPF is there to protect him in the worst case scenario. Second, compound interest. So the special thing about CPF is that it has a super duper high interest of 4%, or strictly speaking, it's actually up to 5% for the first 60k. Here's the crazy part. If you look at history, the CPF interest had remained the same for over 20 years. Like, I don't know about you, I remember that over 20 years ago, I was still watching Power Rangers and Bugs Bunny on TV. When you can have such a steady 4% interest, your money can compound very well. In 35 years, you have almost 4x your money. Yes, I know you'll be like, but my Tesla can 6x in 1 year. That's a totally different thing. You won't find such crazy returns every time. Meanwhile, your CPF is just sitting there behind a glass window, earning money while you sleep, all due to compounding. The next benefit of topping up to CPF, tax relief. So every year, you can top up 7k into SA to reduce your taxes. So assuming you earn 120k a year, with that 7k top up, you have easily saved 11.5% tax, or $805 that you have otherwise contributed to nation building. With the additional $805 every year over 35 years, you have ended up with extra 59k, which could be used to buy cai fan with fish every day for the rest of your lives. So that's awesome. Okay, so that was the pros. But we also have to talk about the downside of topping up to CPF. First, sacrificing liquidity. The biggest downside of them all is that you will lock up your money till old age. It's only until 55 years old that you can finally reunite with your CPF money. But you still can't withdraw everything. You need to keep a minimum amount called the basic retirement sum in CPF. And the problem is the basic retirement sum is going up every year. Right now it's at 96k, but by 2040 it's already at 150k. This money can actually be used for other things, like maybe you want to start a business or live overseas or raise your kids, because raising a kid is super expensive in Singapore. But if that money is locked up in CPF, the kid will have to raise himself. Just kidding, don't do that please. So that's the first downside, sacrificing liquidity. Second, policies are not fixed. Yes, while the CPF interests have remained the same, or the withdrawal age has been the same since a long time ago, there is zero guarantee that the policy won't change next time. Here's what you need to know about how CPF can afford to pay us 4% every year. First, the CPF money is invested in Singapore bonds, and the proceeds from the bonds are put together with other funds, which is then invested by GIC. So whether CPF can continue to pay 4% or not depends on whether GIC can continue to get good returns or not. If you look at GIC's 20-year real rate of return, it has actually been dropping a bit till 2020, then it went back up. Now, I'm very certain that GIC has a lot of pro investors, definitely much more pro than me. But the returns are also affected by market conditions like inflation, war and stuff. Also, I'm sure that the government won't anyhow raise the withdrawal age. The last time they tried that, they lost a small percentage of votes during the election. But with that being said, if ever the interest decreases or the withdrawal age increase, it will have a big impact on the 1M65 plan. So, should you aim for 1M65? It depends on your situation. Keith from investment modes prefer not to top up CPF due to reasons that I mentioned just now. Financial Horse also prefers not to top up his CPF. But if you ask Chris from Honey Money, he's like, top up CPF with the reasons that CPF acts as a safety net, tax reliefs and compound interest. If you ask me, right now I'm not topping up to my CPF yet. But I'm not telling you not to top up. Everyone's situation is different. So here's how you can decide. First, how confident are you in investing? The main reason people prefer to top up to CPF is that it gives them a steady 4% interest. But if you are good at investing, you can easily make higher than 4%. And of course, I'm not talking about Tesla. You don't need to invest in Tesla to get 4%. For example, in the past, S&P 500 has given a 10% annualized return. Or if you're not comfortable investing in US stocks, even Singapore's dividend stocks easily give a good return. Like DBS, which gives 3% dividend, while the stock has 3x since 10 years ago. Or Mapletree Logistics, which gives 4% dividend, while the stock has 4x since 10 years ago. Even if you are not good at investing, there are robo-advisors like Syfe, Stashaway and Dowers that can help you invest. So the question is, do you just want a fixed 4%? Or do you want to aim higher returns but higher risk by investing yourself? Now, the idea of 1M65 is so that you have enough money to retire at 65 years old. But the question is, when do you want to retire? Do you want to work until 65? Or do you want to travel to Italy with your family? That's another popular strategy called financial independence, retire early. Basically, it means that you save as much as you can and invest the money. And once your passive income is higher than your expense, you achieve financial independence and can retire whenever you want, even in your 30s. Let me show you something interesting. Here, you can see that 1M65 has been popular since a long time ago, while financial independence, retire early is a super duper new idea. That's because in the past, your options were very limited. Like if you want to invest in stocks, you need to go through bank brokers, which charge you a super duper high $25 fee. But now, you have those low-cost brokers that charge only a few dollars. Or last time, you have to work at a job till retirement. But now, with the internet, you can easily make money at home. like blogging, making YouTube videos, Twitch streaming, dropshipping. So think about when you want to retire. Are you aiming to retire in your 30s or 60s? Finally, here are my thoughts. It's actually not an either or situation. Instead, it can be, why not both?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yes, you can aim for $1 million in CPF by 65 years old, and at the same time, aim for early retirement. Like I showed you just now, you can easily hit 130k without topping up. But the problem is when you use CPF money to buy your house, that's when you have to start topping up. What you can do is just top up 7k into your CPF every year just to save on taxes, then invest the rest of the money. As a blogger puts it, if you need to rely on your CPF for retirement, you are not ready for retirement. In the end, the main goal of 1M65 is to use your CPF as a safety net, then use it together with everything else to grow your wealth. So anyway, that's all for this video, but do let me know what you think about 1M65. Like, share, subscribe as I'll be posting new videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday.